recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol, it could have been anything. And my behaviour, also addictive, work, relationships, collecting, materialism, you name it. I could be it, addicted. Why? Well, the answer is, why not? You know, anybody can be an addict. If we practice something hard, trying to be perfect for a long time, or then find ourselves reliant on something to fix us externally in terms of our emotional, spiritual, or physical well-being, that's how addiction happens. So we can slip from conviviality and joyfulness, or accessing our feelings with the help of some external source or external support, through to dependence on that external factor, through to addiction to that external factor. Did you hear that? That was the bottles being turfed out from my local restaurant. It happens about this time of day, and it happens more than once. It's a big restaurant, and there are many, many big drinkers in London. And it's a good reminder, actually, and I'm smiling about it. But in the old days, when I was on the verge of realising that I was addicted to alcohol and certain types of behaviour, I thought to myself, this isn't fair. You know, why me? And of course denial is in there, the anger, the frustration, the absolute rage of learning that I am an addict. And that recovery means I have to change my attitude and behaviour. And the trouble with denial is, it's with us every day, because when we see something we don't like, we say to ourselves, I can't believe it. And that can come in the tragedy of a death of somebody that we love and is close to us. It can come in the tragedy that we see in the news, like Haiti. And it can be just something simple, like the bus goes by, doesn't stop for us, or the train goes too soon, or the car won't start. And it's a I can't believe it moment. And that's denial. Anger, frustration, some depression, depending on the severity of what's going on. And then some sort of acceptance, admitting that this needs to change. And acceptance for me is a daily process, as is denial. I can still say to myself, I can't believe I'm an alcoholic. Yet, I know deep in my heart, it's probably been one of the best things that has ever happened to me, because I needed to face up to reality, the way life is today, to live life on life's terms. And throughout my drinking history, taking the edge off was what we did. We worked hard, played hard, and then we took the edge off, and then the edge was taken completely off, and dependence was in, and we don't know it's happening. And the very last thing we want to accept is that we cannot rely on it anymore, that we have become codependent on some external factor in our lives, and it controls us rather than us controlling, or rather than us being able to make our choices based on reality. So it takes a long while to understand the nature of this illness or this predicament we find ourselves in if we are an addict. And it's a no-blame illness. Either we get it or we don't. Some people get it, some people don't. But if somebody is dependent and heading for addiction, I don't know how to stop them. I don't know how to inform them, except share experience, strength and hope that, come what may, there is a better life without that dependency or that addiction. And it doesn't mean it's all wonderful, joyful and happy. It means that we experience life as it is for people who just face reality on a daily basis without taking the edge off. So why do we have emotions? Well, that is simple. What would life be without our feelings? You know, if we couldn't experience joyfulness, we couldn't experience sadness. So a combination of the two, and sometimes almost like hysterical laughter at our misfortune, gallows humour as it's called, keeps us going when life is very, very difficult. So what helps me? Well, family, friends, community keep me ticking along in a place where I can love people, be loved back and useful in society again. And it's contingent on my sobriety. So what helps me with my sobriety is simply a fellowship, and that fellowship is AA. And the reason why it's a fellowship, everybody's the same size inside it. We are all unique, authentic people, not special and different, and we're all on our own unique, authentic path, not to the same destination. As we leave meetings, we go about our lives, and we might not see each other for quite a while, but we do make friends in fellowship, and we do find inclusion and being a part of again, and that's a stepping stone, if you like, to normal living, whatever that happens to be for you. So what is AA? I share the preamble of AA here, or the statement of intent about what it's there to do, and then one of the readings from one of the books of literature, and a little bit about what's going on for me. So the AA preamble is this: Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And in there, primary purpose of the fellowship is to help people stop drinking, and then to help other people find sobriety. And beyond that is how it works for us. So it's not all the same for everyone. In fact, for every person it's a unique experience, and that is the gift of fellowship, that we get our choices in living back and our understanding of life as it is today. So the gift for me is to be a part of. And for me, just checking the time, I went to a meeting close to me. It's my closest meeting in geographical terms. I've only ever been there twice in the last few years. Why? I don't know. I got stuck into other meetings. But it's on my doorstep almost, and it's very handy when it's extraordinarily cold in the night time here, to go find a bunch of people who I know, actually. There's so many people I know around here in fellowship. I can't help bumping into them in the street, in the supermarket, you name it. And life experience is like that. So sometimes we just nod because that's as far as we go with our friendship, or sometimes we give each other a hug in the middle of the street and people think, oh, they're good friends, I wonder where they know each other from. And nobody knows, really. Anonymity is the sanctuary to find our truth. So it's important, this anonymous business, very important, because it is sanctuary to find out who we are and then live our lives. So literature today in this book, Daily Reflections, covers the 12 steps of action for an individual to be able to put into practice on a daily basis, and it takes a while to learn what they are and then put them into practice. And for January 26 it says rigorous honesty. Who wishes to be rigorously honest and tolerant? Who wants to confess his faults to another and make restitution for harm done? Who cares anything about a higher power, let alone meditation and prayer? Who wants to sacrifice time and energy trying to carry AA's message to the next sufferer? No, the average alcoholic, self-centered in the extreme, doesn't care for this prospect unless he has to do these things in order to stay alive himself. And what we learn in sobriety is that we need to actually share and pass on the message, because it then means we are included again, that we have purpose. And as Albert Einstein said, behind everything is purpose. Or what is the point? I'm not going to read the rest of it. You can find it either on my Facebook or anywhere on the internet. The most important part of that is rigorous honesty. It means that we are less in denial about our human condition. And acceptance is key to all of this. And the meditation for acceptance in any moment when it's getting difficult for me is the serenity prayer, which can be to God or good conscience or a power greater than ourselves, or just an understanding. And it goes like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, for me, is just for today. To either substance or behaviour, and if you're familiar with the format, my videos are all about recovery from addiction. And for me, recovery is one day long, simply this one day we have today. And since yesterday, I've been feeling quite a lot better and trying to put myself first in recovery, which simply means making sure I do all the right things. And you can't change the world overnight, so there are parts of me which I would like to change and remain changed and be better and happier. But as we get some dings and knocks along the way, we can't actually do anything about some changes which are just irreparable. And my situation is okay today. So I'm in recovery from alcohol addiction. The other addictions probably were to behaviour, workaholic, trying to be perfect, never so. And it's so easy to keep on trying to be compulsively good. And the trouble is, when we're compulsively good, we're in a mode of judging the rest of the world and not judging ourselves by our own actions and deeds. And sometimes we may wander off the point and become so judgmental that we want to tell another person what is good for them. And the difficulty is, as soon as we start that merry-go-round of trying to do something good for another person, or suggest there is a better way for them to behave or be, then that judgment is trying to control another's behaviour, and behind control is fear, and behind fear often is love unconditionally of another person, but at the same time so worried that they may do something wrong or continue to hurt themselves, we feel we must intervene. And it's called a process intervention by some people, or by intervention processes by others. And these can be from simple, you know, when you do this, it does that, through to, I reckon you're an alcoholic and you need to do something about it. So however we hear these messages from those who love us, often we don't actually hear the message. All we hear is the criticism, which drives us underground and makes us do more compulsive things, like compulsively hiding what is going on for us, and not being able to listen to or avoiding those people who love us so much they will tell us the truth. And the absolute truth is, as a person tries to tell another what the truth is for them, all they need to remind themselves is, please let me share my truth as I see it, my truth about my concern and how I feel. So when we're in judgment mode, maybe the only place we can start is with ourselves. So my judgment this morning, how am I feeling? I'm not feeling too bad, actually. It's been a bit of a difficult, well, few months or even a year. And a year has gone by very, very quickly. And I'm very glad to say I had a relationship in recovery, that is, me-woman relationship. And gratitude beyond measure that we succeeded in doing some splendid things and learning a hell of a lot. But you know what, towards the end we burned ourselves out, I suspect, and started to get worried about this, that and the other. And I cannot even catalogue the number of things I could have been worried about, or she could have been worried about for herself and for me. So the gift is, if we're in the here and now, we're in a better place of understanding. In the here and now, we need not fear anything but what we fear from the past, or what we anticipate as fear of the future. And that book, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, with all sorts of practice exercises, is very helpful. But I'm not going to go into that today because I won't have enough time. But what keeps me sober is the fellowship of AA, one day at a time. There's one 24 hours, and sometimes by the minute or the hour, I need to cling on to the truth of now, that I'm okay enough. If anything happens, I can do something about it. So clinical depression, type 1 diabetes, whatever else I have, quite a few disorderly parts of me which will not, which I cannot control and I'm powerless over. So AA, I go to meetings. I went to a great one last night, and at the beginning of it, this is the preamble that is said. I don't speak for AA, I speak for me, but the preamble helps me get back into this one moment of now, the very important moment of now when I can make some choices. So it says here, Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So the primary purpose, stay sober and help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. And that doesn't mean I go around saying this is the way to do it, this is the way to get sober, you alcoholic you. It's me talking about my experience, strength and hope, and what keeps me sober on a daily basis. And we had quite a lot of newcomers in our meeting last night. That's the Flood Street evening meeting at 7:45 when it kicks off, but there's tea available from 7:30. And you know, people coming into a room of people not drinking when you've only just stopped maybe an hour before, or you're still thinking about it, or for example, people come into our meeting and they're still drinking from their Lucozade bottle or their fruit juice bottle or their special cup of coffee they've got from the coffee house, which is laced with something extra. None of my business, but this happens, and the gift is if people just keep on coming back, they hear and see how other people have got sober. And that's the gift. And when I can't get to meetings, or I want to actually settle down and get my mind somewhere into the here and now, I come and do a video about recovery. And why do I do them? Because it helps me more than anything. I need to put myself first, or I cannot share my experience, strength and hope with anybody else. And once I'm into a mode of being sober a day at a time, then I can keep on sharing how it goes. And I don't know how long I'm going to do these videos, but we shall see. Daily Reflections, a very useful publication by AA. Again, I don't speak for AA, but it's got lots of good things in it. And for January 26th it says rigorous honesty. Who wishes to be rigorously honest and tolerant? Who wants to confess his fault to another and make restitution for harm done? Who cares anything about a higher power, let alone meditation and prayer? Who wants to sacrifice time and energy in trying to carry AA's message to the next sufferer? No, the average alcoholic, self-centered in the extreme, doesn't care for this prospect, unless he has to do these things in order to stay alive himself. So part of the story is to share experience, strength and hope as best we can, and for me in any medium, and I go my way on this, not the AA way. I am an alcoholic. If I drink I will die. What power, energy and emotion this simple statement generates in me. But it's really all I need to know for today. Am I willing to stay alive today? Am I willing to stay sober today? Am I willing to ask for help? And am I willing to be a help to another suffering alcoholic today? Have I discovered the fatal nature of my situation? What must I do today to stay sober? And you know, if I drink I die, and there's several ways of dying before you're actually physically dead. And you know, I talk about emotional, spiritual and physical well-being. So if I drink, my emotional well-being is disturbed. If I drink, my spiritual understanding of the here and now, my real connection to now, where spiritual is real life happening really for me, without as many denials and filters that I can put in with drink, then if I go back to drink, my spiritual and emotional nature, which is developing nicely, thank you, very, very slowly but nicely. I'm starting to understand me and my life for the first time in 52 years, and what a relief that is. But if I drink, I lose the plot, and that's the real danger for me. And you know, who wants to be a zombie, one of the walking dead? I don't. And Group and Worldwide Community, which is the reading in this book as Bill sees it, I don't know if I've got time for it. I'll just cover the first half. It says here, the moment 12th step work forms a group, the discovery is made that most individuals cannot recover unless there is a group. Realization dawns on each member that he is but a small part of a great whole. That no personal sacrifice is too great for preservation of the fellowship. He learns that the clamour of desires and ambitions within him must be silenced whenever these could damage the group. It becomes plain that the group must survive or the individual will not. And you know, my recovery is not dependent on one group of people, but it's dependent on community, society and civilization, and a very good health service besides. And I go to many groups of AA, and we meet each other in different places as well. So it's not just one place, one group. Often it's our part in more than one group, and family, society, and whatever else it is we do. So the gift today is, I'm not one of the walking dead. I'm getting some spiritual and emotional nourishment, just one day at a time. All about powerlessness over alcohol and life being unmanageable when I drink. Now, it's been some years since I've had a drink, but I've had to learn a bit more about powerlessness, which is the first step of the AA program. That's Alcoholics Anonymous. That fellowship which has helped me get into recovery from addiction to both substance and behaviour. obviously my substance, alcohol, addicted, and my addictive behaviour, compulsive helper, compulsive yes man, compulsive challenged taker, compulsive this, that and the other, because I wanted you to like me. I wanted to be liked and loved, and I thought by doing exactly what you thought I ought to do, I would actually get to a place of happiness. And the absolute truth is, if we spend our lives trying to make others happy so that we can be happy, we're probably following a path which is not putting ourselves first. And there's a balance in all of these things about putting ourselves first and helping other people. And that's really what the Fellowship of AA Alcoholics Anonymous is all about. And the preamble, which is shared at every meeting at the start, goes like this. And this is really helping me put myself into the moment of now. And it says, Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And this month, January, is it's a month where the day book, the daily reflections in this, an AA publication, talks about the step 1 of the programme of AA. There are 12 steps of action to work with in any one day or any one situation that we may encounter. And that means that we have to learn what these steps are first, and we have to learn where we are in life, so we may experience these opportunities to utilise the tools of the Alcoholics Anonymous programme. And many people come to AA because they're being told to, or many people come to AA because they're frightened by their drinking, or they have people in their family or community or work, wherever it happens to be, who are very concerned that we are all drinking too much. And the more you focus on the problem, the more you are encouraging the problem to keep on going. And that applies to everything, really. So if it wasn't drink, it would be something else, maybe. But in this book, 12 by 12, 12 steps and 12 traditions, it outlines the 12-step action program for individuals to make use of if they wish to. And it also shows the 12 traditions which hold the Fellowship of AA together. And I'm focusing much on the steps, because January, as in the Daily Reflections book, is all about step 1, which is powerless over alcohol and life unmanageable when we drink. And the trouble is, unmanageability doesn't end there. We've been unmanageable probably for a long, long time around who we are and what we are, how we feel, why and what can we do. And behind all of that, of course, is probably fear. And the more we talk about an issue which is impossible to solve on our own, the more we try and hide what is going on. So we get into compulsive behaviours around isolation, covering up, having sneaky drinks here and there and everywhere, and probably conducting ourselves in a very secretive way, we feel, but the rest of the world knows we're being secretive because we're not there in the rest of the world. And towards the end of step 1 in this book, sorry for my coughing, it says, why all this insistence that every AA must hit rock bottom first? The answer is that few people will sincerely try to practice the AA program unless they have hit bottom. For practicing AA's remaining 11 steps means the adoption of attitudes and actions that almost no alcoholic who is still drinking can dream of taking. Who wishes to be rigorously honest and tolerant? Who wants to confess his faults to another and make restitution for harm done? Who cares anything about a higher power, let alone meditation and prayer? Who wants to sacrifice time and energy in trying to carry AA's message to the next sufferer? No, the average alcoholic, self-centered in the extreme, doesn't care for this prospect unless he has to do these things in order to stay alive himself. Under the lash of alcoholism we are driven to AA, and there we discover the fatal nature of our situation. Then and only then do we become as open-minded to conviction as well as to listen to the dying as the dying can be. We stand ready to do anything which will lift up the merciless obsession from us. And that's just about alcohol. But the trouble is, you see, for people like me who are compulsive helpers, or we have a strange, almost do-gooding nature if we're not careful, and there's a big difference between doing good for people and doing do-gooding. Do-gooding is about self-seeking, self-serving, self-obsession, utilising our fear and our ego and putting on a brave face, which is often, in essence, pretending to be in recovery. And pretending to be in recovery is more dangerous often. It's often called fake it to make it. So this thing of we need to help a newcomer in order to stay well, actually we do need to do that, but we have to understand where we're coming from, a place of courage, faith and self-esteem. There's nothing worse than somebody trying to do good, realising they're meddling and then letting go, and then finding that the world is turning to what it used to be, dark and very frustrating and very, very alone. So the trouble with the 12 steps of the action program is if you try and pretend to do them, some people suggest it's the only way you can in the early days, but the point I would make quite sincerely is that the more we pretend or fake it to make it, the longer our recovery takes. So my advocate, or the advocate in me, says we need a mini breakdown on a daily basis, breaking down and realising we're not succeeding, we're taking too much on, we're trying to be this, we're trying to be that, we're trying to be that awful word called perfect. So we're not perfect, and the absolute gift is, as we get into recovery and we realise we need to help others in the process, we become part of the fellowship, and simply we work at living the program, that is, being able to share experience, strength and hope, learn from experiences, which says I'm not here to do compulsive do-gooding, I'm not here to actually try and save the other person at a cost to me. So we start to slow down our recovery to be in the moment of now. And when we actually start to see my recovery is contingent on me understanding these 12 steps of action to change my attitude and behaviour. Attitude and behaviour needs to change, and we need to know what is behind that. It's our feelings. Are we feeling fearful? Is it our ego? Is it putting on a brave face? Or is it having courage, faith and confidence to be doing the right thing for ourselves and to sharing our message, not compulsively at people and trying to help every newcomer in the room? That's just blinking impossible, and people see it as superficial and fairly indifferent because there's no backup, there's nothing behind it except maybe a lot of words which mean nothing. So what happens? We get to AA, we're completely, I suppose, red raw and raging about how life has turned out, and gradually, sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly, we get the message of attitude and behavioural change, which means we have to do things more thoroughly. We have to experience life and understand how these steps work in life, and we do that by hearing it and then seeing it and then trying it out for ourselves. It's the adoption process, which is often called fake it to make it, and the answer is it's not fake, it's real, it's right now, and if it feels fearful, share it. If it feels right, share it. That's the way it goes. So for me today, I always remind myself, and I have to do this on a daily basis, step 1, I am powerless over alcohol, and if I take a drink, life will become unmanageable. Similarly, I am powerless over other people, places and things, and I need to make my choices very, very carefully around those. And the final bit for me is always the serenity prayer, which is about acceptance. And whether you believe in God or not, or good conscience, it goes like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, which is my choices, and the wisdom to learn the difference every single day. There you go, a little bit more than I anticipated. It was in me and it needed to come out.